All right, good morning. It is Monday, July 21st, 2025. Hope everyone is enjoying the summer here. Nice job by Shilks in the office jumping in on last week's video. This time of year, just a lot of us are traveling. Well, for a couple reasons. One, it's the off season for hockey, but two, down here in Charleston, it's so hot. Like you got to get north somewhere. So a good excuse to get out of here and see some families. Even Gallers. Strax is still Western Canada, and he's actually meeting us, myself and Shilks. We're heading to Ohio State. So our alma mater, Ohio State, the Bucks, they always put on a nice event that our team, we actually sponsor. But it's it's an Ohio State hockey alumni golf event. So really fun to go back and see some old teammates and friends. So looking forward to that this weekend. Kind of a lot to unpack here in the coming weeks and months. Some great news that the new CBA was ratified. So just not having to worry about a lockout after next year is I think everyone's really happy about that. And then in the States here, of course, we get the big beautiful bill, passed into law. Some of those provisions go into effect like immediately for tax year 2025. Others not till 2026. So our team is working on that. The bill I think was 870 pages. So just kind of pulling out the parts that are relevant to the families we serve and hockey players, and so we're figuring that out, and we're gonna put some slides together, and we'll probably host some kind of like webinar on that in the weeks ahead. So free agency, obviously, full swing. Gosh, I mean, hockey's right around the corner, I feel like, already with July, the days in July just kind of ticking away here. So relatively, with all that going on, it's kind of nice. Relatively quiet week, really a relatively quiet couple weeks in financial markets, which most feel that's probably a good thing. As I was kind of preparing for the video here this morning, kind of thinking back to what would be a good topic, and I think it's a really good behavioral exercise just given the market's kind of melted up and everyone feels decent about how things are going. I think it's a really good mental exercise just to take a step back, kind of like rewind and take yourself back to April when it was kind of like peak uncertainty, a lot of fears. I know the one Monday video about like the volatility index, like the fear gauge, where that was spiking in April. So this is like the height of the tariff uncertainty, potential trade wars. Markets were rattled. You had some economic pundits telling everyone to go to all cash, like this is the end of everything. And sadly, a lot of people did go to cash, and maybe worse yet is they're still sitting in cash. Like what do you do if you've been sitting in cash the last 3 months and now the market's at highs and you're not invested, right? Like it's but just kind of goes to show, like, don't listen to bad financial advice, but more for like a healthy behavioral exercise. Like I think it can be really helpful to, hey, like remember how you felt, right? Because it is scary when markets become volatile. Like it can be really scary, and just remember how you felt, and then where you are today, right? Like how you felt, where you are today, and it's a good exercise. Because assuming you had a good strategy in place and your team didn't let you capitulate, right? So if you work with our firm, like your portfolio has done really well, right, in recent months, right? So it's and so it's just a really good exercise. Like, gosh, that was scary, but now I'm doing well. And the reason it's a good exercise is it's going to happen again, right? Like market volatility is inevitable. One really nice study I read, and it just kind of shows like the temporary declines and then the recoveries of markets, and the sentence I loved was, volatility is the price of admission for successful long-term returns. Okay, volatility, it's the ticket, it's the price you have to pay in order to generate really strong, long returns. So, and so just because it's going to happen again, right? So if you think back, whether it's April to now, or if you've been investing longer and you remember like COVID to now, or the financial crisis to now, like market volatility is inevitable, and the more reps you get to just behaviorally overcome those hurdles, the better place you're going to be, because like it's going to happen again, right? So if you just look at market data, and I can get really nerdy on this stuff, but on average, the vast majority of calendar market years, you're going to have at least one 10% correction at some point of the year. Doesn't happen every year, but like most years, you at some point you're going to get a 10% plus correction in markets. So sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it might be a bigger decline, right? Depending on the risks and the severity, the economic downturn, whatever that might be. But it's going to happen again, and just by having those reps in place, just those mental reps of going back, I think it's just a healthy exercise. So sorry for that long rant, but just like behaviorally, it's just so important. A side note, I just thought of, thank you for all the really kind feedback we've been receiving on the July newsletter. Obviously, Strax poured his heart and soul into that newsletter. Seemed to really resonate, particularly with some of the older guys I mean like myself, guys, out of the game now. And so thanks for that kind feedback. I know it meant a lot to Strax, just getting some of that feedback. All right. Just really quickly, last week, earnings season here in the States off to a good start. Good results from 3M, Goldman, Citibank, among others. Also, a much stronger than expected retail sales number came in at 0.6%. Economic consensus was 0.1, so like a large beat on retail sales. On the heels of that, you see a bunch of economists raising their forecast for this quarter's GDP, which is a good thing. All right, and then just lastly, preseason reviews are kind of right around the corner here. Call it five-ish weeks. We'll start preseason reviews with families. So just be on the lookout for that scheduling link when that comes out. And I think that's it. So sorry for going a little bit. I get passionate about this stuff, but wishing everyone a wonderful week ahead. Questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to our office, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.